All right. I think we're good to go. All right. Good morning, guys. Thanks for being here with us this morning. We have a good meeting planned for y'all. Make sure my phone is on silent. And joining us this morning, I have not checked to see if she is on the line yet, but we have Teri with Lowcountry Title. Let me see if she is here yet. I don't see her on yet, but we will hear from her in a little bit. And we also have some celebrations to highlight. We've got Morris Cave's birthday. What is today? The 13th? Yeah, so today is Morris Cave's birthday. I have not seen him in a little while, but he pops in here every once in a while. And of course, you guys know Scott Cave in IT is his son. I play soccer with him. So happy birthday to Morris. And then also on the 14th, Tommy Levitt's birthday. So his birthday eve. Happy birthday, Tommy. We also have some congrats for our anniversaries for agents celebrating in the month of May. Their anniversary with us. Kristen Ackerman, 1 year with us. That's awesome. Molly Lawson, 2 years. Zach Llewellyn, 3 years. Dan and Nicole McCabe, 4 years. Dana Northrup, 5 years. Connie Deeren, 13 years. And Patty Vick, 19 years. Does it feel like 19 years? That is awesome. Thank you guys very, very much for your commitments. That's very, very cool. All right. A couple of things on the calendar for the next week or so. Sorry, my voice is super raspy this morning. I'm not going to be here next week on Thursday through the end of the weekend, so we will not have a sales meeting next Thursday. I'm going to Jersey to see my fam. I asked my mom this morning when the last time was that I was home because I could not remember, and it's been 9.5 months since I was home. So I'm going home, seeing my nephew, spend a little bit of time with my fam. I FaceTimed this morning to tell my nephew yesterday and let him know I bought my flight, and he said, he grabbed Jenny, my sister-in-law, gave her a big hug, and he said, "Mommy, this is great. Gigi's coming on an airplane." So he is very excited, and so am I. So can't wait for that. So I will send you guys an email reminder, but we will not have a sales meeting next week, and I'll have coverage probably. Tim Walter from Mount Pleasant North will cover for you guys. All right, March of Dimes. We've been running this for a couple of weeks. I actually don't know the end date. Alex, are you on with us this morning?
Yes, I'm in the parking lot, actually. So we really have till the end of June to raise the funds, but Michael and I were hoping to have all of the offices reach their goals more like the end of May, beginning of June. So if we could, push as much as we can. The baby poster thing is really fun and everybody was excited about it, but my sweet Paul Lynch is the only one that has actually filled out a ticket. So we were going to have the grand finale be next Thursday, but since we're not doing that sales meeting, maybe we'll do the following one. But if we could get a push for that, that would be great. And I might figure out how to do some type of safe lunch or something like that. So, and just keep sharing it on your social media, because a lot of agents and offices are getting funds raised by their sphere. It's not necessarily them giving. So that's a great thing to do as well. Thanks, guys.
Yes. You can Venmo it to Alex. Her Venmo is right there. I will send that out so that you guys have her Venmo, or you can Venmo to me, or you can give us cash or a check. But Alex and I were talking yesterday, and there are some teams that are ahead of us, which is not a very good thing, especially in fundraising. So that's why I have on there, we need $3,000, because if we get $3,000, then we'll be ahead. I think 16 or 1,800, Alex, how much have we raised already?
Yeah, we're right around that mark, 16 and change. And then also 3 offices this year decided to do a challenge against each other. And it was Oliver Matthews, who's been with the March of Dimes for decades, out of the West Islands office, and then Millie Martin out of Charleston Central. And then, of course, us. So our goal is 4,000. So it's actually a lot higher than the offices that we congratulated at the meeting on Tuesday. So I'm really proud of you guys, because we're raising more than the other offices to try and have all the other offices come up with us next year.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, so we'll rally behind that and we'll get some funds on that. And I will also send out Alex's Venmo. And it's funny because everybody coming into the office likes to guess who the babies are, but no one's actually paying to play. So now we're going to, like, you're not going to be able to guess anymore. We're just going to make you give us your money. Just pay us to play. Yeah, people keep talking about it and we're like, well, give us some money. So, all right, couple of important memos. So this isn't really worth hammering through. I know that sounds crazy, but we've had some contract form changes. These are the forms that have changed. The agreement to buy and sell, that's actually the land contract. It's not our regular one. The buyer notice of accepted offer is a completely new form. And then buyer's home sale contingency addendum and notice and release. So Form 504 used to be a very complicated form. I think they've improved it, but it's still a little bit complex. Kristen Ackerman and I were going through it the other day and she's like, this has totally changed. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So there's some video links that explain each contract change. I'll email those out to you after the meeting. But really the most important thing you need to know is that the home sale contingency addendum has changed. Now it has like 2 or 3 different scenarios that included another form. So if you have a home sale contingency, you're using Form 504, but then you're also sending Form 505 when that house goes under contract. And then on the other side, as a listing agent, if you receive another offer that does not have a Form 504, you're sending a notice form to the other agent saying, hey, we got another offer, let's go. So it's a couple more steps, but it's, I think, much less complicated, even though it doesn't really sound less complicated. And then the other thing is the release. I don't have to sign a release anymore. As long as we have all parties agree, we don't need a broker signature on releases. Good? That's the new form that says, I meant to bring them in here and I didn't. That I think Form 500 is the one where you would send it to the other agent, the buyer's agent, as a listing agent saying, hey, we got another offer that doesn't have a Form 504. It doesn't have a backup home sale contingency addendum. So you're putting that agent on notice saying, hey, you either have to get your house under contract or remove the contingency. Yeah. Okay. Just a reminder on conference rooms. We had a little bit of an issue at another office where we had 4 agents with clients all going to use the same conference rooms and nobody booked. So we had 4 clients standing there waiting for a conference room and we didn't have enough conference room space. So online on Rose, you can click on room booking and then you can book a conference room at any office. So just be mindful of that. These are the steps that we'll send out later today, but it's very, very easy. It's on the main page of Rose. Just click room booking and then you can book at whatever office you're going to. Okay. Yeah.
So if somebody books like ours, how do we know who's booked?
Yeah, so Alyssa and Tony will monitor that. Adam's question for you guys at home was, how would you know if somebody goes up and writes on it? We actually really want to take that off. But when they see somebody write on it, they'll go online and update it and then vice versa. And you can always call the office if that's easier. If you're driving and you need to hustle in to get a conference room, just call that office and ask that OA to book you a conference room and they know to do it online. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Yep. Kristen's question was, can you see? Yeah, it's a pretty good system. We just aren't really using it. Yeah, you do? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it just will help, especially if you have clients. But we looked pretty silly. I think it happened at Salt Point, and we didn't have any space for all 4 clients all at the same time. So we looked a little foolish, but we figured it out. Yeah, Park Circle. All right, so our perfect paperwork little campaign that we're doing with Alyssa and Tony, we have our perfect timers to highlight. These individuals receive a Starbucks gift card for having all their paperwork turned in on time. We've got Doug Getford, Tina Hartford, Molly Lawson with 2, Mary Maloney, Tyler Davidson, Pam Bishop, Paul Lynch, Tina Hartford on there again, and the Alfords. So thank you guys very much turning in your paperwork. And also congrats to Doug Gepford for just hitting his 95%. It's very cool. It's always nice to see that. All right, our weekly contest. I wanted to highlight this week's players. We've got Duval Acker, Paul Lynch, Abby Newton, Georgia Svensson, Suzanne Jacobs, Alex Terregas, Tina Byers, Kimberly Ritter, Melissa Loy, Andrea Rose Rousseau, and Dominique House. So thank you guys very much for playing. We've got some high points up there. Duval leading the pack. Duval's always leading the pack on contests. We got a little friendly competition going there. All right, Andrew and Charlene, let's do our mortgage stuff. And I did see Teri, so we'll hear from Teri here in a little bit. I can't read the chat box because it's so small.
Who won the conference room?
Oh, highest offer. Yeah, my technology is being a little complicated this morning. Here you go. Don't trip.
You know, I would have. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning?
Morning.
All right. Let's talk a little bit this morning about, where's the thing? There we go. Double clicked. It was an accident.
Okay.
We're going to talk about personal property on contracts a little bit this morning and how that affects appraisal, as well as just appraisal and how they're going right now. Has anybody had any issues with any appraisals recently?
I haven't heard of any, actually.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, that's because we're doing a good job of keeping
Not this week,
it.
Abby. No,
I
really haven't.
So let's talk about personal property. Does everybody know where you put personal property on the contract when you're writing up an offer? Bingo. What counts as personal property? Where do most people put it actually? Page 1, right? On the bottom right there with window treatments and blinds and washer, dryer, refrigerator, all that stuff. Does anybody know what cannot be included on on a contract? Personal property. What does that entail? So that's what we need to talk about a little bit. Anything that can be removed or that is not standard to a home, right? So, I mean, a refrigerator, or I take that back, even refrigerators, or I've seen before actually stoves as well be an issue when it is a massive stove. Like if it's a wolf range or something like that, because of the value that is included, it cannot add specific value to the property that would not remain if that piece was taken out. Put it in real words. Oh, absolutely. Appliances, typically you can include appliances in personal property on page 1 at no value, as long as there really is no value being added by that piece of personal property. A lot of this came out back in, I don't know if you guys remember back like 06, 07, when builders were putting in like, there's a car in the garage if you buy this house. Right? Well, it was literally Prius. When Prius first came out, there was a Prius and a golf cart in the garage. That stuff obviously can be removed from the property. So how does that maintain value in that property? But there's still value to it is the issue, right? So when you're putting it on the contract, you want to make sure that you're saying, number one, that you're saying that it's being added as no value, but that it's not something that the seller is expecting value to be given for in the contract. Does that make sense? So obviously there is still value in dishwasher, refrigerator, but stuff that you have to have in a house to live is stuff that you typically can include in the contract. You don't need, so here's some of the examples here. You'll see them up on the screen here. Allowed dishwashers, refrigerators, washer and dryer, blinds, drapes, anything attached. However, there's a caveat to that. What about chandeliers? That's been a big issue. We've seen that in the past where if it's not counted or put into a contract somewhere, and all of a sudden they show up on the date of move and the chandelier's missing from the front lot, the front room, they want to know what happened to it. But also, again, that stuff, if there's value, it's just like I was saying about the Viking stove or the Wolf Range or whatever. If there is value expected for it from the seller, when you're making the offer, you should not include it as personal property on the front page. Does that make sense? All right.
Read the first thing that shouldn't go in the contract.
Animal decorations on the wall. That was an actual thing for somebody in the contract.
Yeah.
That's there is stuff like that. Yes.
Don't make it up. I mean, like in your head.
Yes. Yes. But again, if somebody's expecting those in the contract, oops, I want to go back one. This. We see this all the time. The next two are two of the biggest ones that we see. Actually, the next three: swing set, furniture, lawn furniture, porch furniture, porch swings, things like that. Even though a porch swing is attached, it can be removed easily, right? Same with TVs on walls. If you're going to put that, now that is, you can't.
Yeah.
If it's attached to the wall, you can probably get away with keeping it in on page one, but you'd still be better to put it on the separate. Lawnmowers is another big one, especially here, especially out in Bono again, right? Riding lawnmowers in the garage, boats, stuff like that. So where do you put this in stuff? A separate bill of sale. Now here is the important part of this aspect. If you put it as a separate bill of sale, do you still say that there's a separate bill of sale on the last page? There's an attached addendum? No. The whole point is personal property should not be attached to the contract at all.
And really, agents should have nothing to do with it and let it work out between buyer and seller.
If you all didn't hear that at home, agents should have nothing to do with that. Let them work it out between the buyer and the seller, which is not realistic. Hand them a bill of sale. Fill this out.
And don't talk to your broker about it.
Don't try to include it in an appraisal.
The contract and the bill of sale. Yeah. Why would they not sign the bill of sale?
Well, so
Adam's asking about a real world scenario. If you can't hear him, so he.
so he so we send that to them, and both at the same time.
I mean, it really has to stay separate, especially because if there's financing involved, you're signing an FHA or VA addendum that says there are no other written or express agreements outside of this contract. You as the agent sign it and the client signs it. So if you have a separate bill of sale that the lender has not seen and you're signing a document that says there are no other agreements outside of this contract, we're lying.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. About a post occupancy agreement? Do they care about seeing that because they're
Yes, depending on how long it is for, because if it's greater than 60 days, then it's no longer considered a primary residence.
Which you're also signing at closing saying you're moving it into primary.
if it's less than that, it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. And to your point, and to what Maggie was just saying, I don't know if you could hear this very well at home, but the whole purpose of the bill of sale and the whole reason for removing all this stuff is because it cannot be valued as part of the appraisal. It's not true value for the property. If you were to include it, they used to do it this way. If it was on a bill, if it wasn't on the bill of sale and you want a personal property included, they had to get valuation for that personal property as part of the contract or reduce it from the purchase price. And that's where this is, especially on VA, they'll reduce it from the purchase price. You don't want that right now.
I think you just have to take each scenario one at a time. You know, it really is, it's only because of the financing. If you have cash, it doesn't matter. You know, but if you have a certain type of loan and you're going to sign an affidavit that says, yeah, there's no other agreement, and then we're like, well, we're really working this one on the side. Not good.
Here's the big deal too, and this actually may answer your question, Adam, a little bit better. That's the whole point. If they want that included as part of the price that they're offering, whether it's the buyer or the seller, are they really are they assigning it value? So if they weren't going to get that stuff, would they offer a lower amount on that house? If so, then you're including value in that. And that's where it can't be included. We don't want to see that.
So,
I guess that's what I'm saying, is that's what they want.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a good point. We've had people where the contract fell through, and now you have a contract where they're buying this personal property outside of the, right?
One of the parties are buying form, y'all work it out.
that's how it's.
That's how you should do it.
So-
We don't want to know anything.
Right. We had another scenario this morning. Charlotte actually texted me a little bit earlier this morning and said, I have items listed that they're going to convey in MLS, but they made an offer and did not include those items from the MLS that we said would convey. Should I put them in the contract? And I said, you should certainly put something in the contract to be crystal clear. These items are not conveying, but then also go into MLS and remove them, because MLS is an advertisement and we're bound to that. So if you're just like, if it says 3% in MLS and then you get 2.5%, that MLS agreement means that you get 3%. So you got to be careful of that as well. You know, that her deal is cash, so it's not going to make it nothing different.
But I'm going to keep it. I thought that was now possibly missing from the lesson. Like, seller, like, not between buyers.
But what's being advertised to the buyer through MLS has to be agreed on. I mean, has to be warranted. Yeah. So if you're going to write an offer and it says, I'm going to give you the chandelier and the patio furniture and the pool equipment, and then somebody gets an offer and that doesn't include the chandelier, patio equipment, pool equipment, whatever, then just remove them from MLS. So, and be very clear in the contract whether or not they're there.
I'm actually very glad that you used that example and that happened this morning, because that's one of the biggest things that we see. You guys as agents, if you get a contract offer on one of your listings that says this, or if you're making offer on listings, don't put on the contract everything listed in MLS will convey.
Yeah.
Because all that does is open up every single note that you have listed in MLS to financing to be scrutinized. All right. If you say whatever is in MLS on March 13th or May 13th, we have to go back and look and see then what the MLS listing says on March 3rd or May 15th. And if there is a chandelier of value in there, lawnmower in the garage, it's the same situation. Do not do anything that's going to open up scrutinization than MLS.
Good comment.
So
they really did the right thing, but
I can't read what this says. You wouldn't unless that's exactly right. It's a light fixture, unless it's something that you wanted to work out specifically because the seller was either going to take it because there's specific value to it. So where we've seen this happen is when somebody walks in and there's a big, like one of those big crystal chandeliers in an entryway or something like that. There's true value to that. The seller's probably going to take it down and take it with them, unless you guys are specifically working that out. But that's a light fixture. If it doesn't match the house, I guess so if you had that in Goose Creek and rather than the house in IOP, that's obviously adding more value to the house that can be removed. So I would list that somewhere on a separate addendum. You have to, it has to be within reason. And again, remember, this has to do with financing.
Or if you're just not sure,
Right.
you know, if you walk in and you're like, wow, it's a really nice chandelier. I wonder if they're going to take it. Let's make sure it conveys, put it in the contract. Right.
and then
Yeah, powder room mirrors, that's another good one.
consider art.
At no value. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you see what she's saying there with that? If the buyer goes in and he's not, and I'm not explaining it very well.
Yeah.
It is. That's exactly right. Unless your buyer, that's right. That's right. Unless your buyer, though, specifically wants to make sure that that chandelier is not taken at closing.
Yeah, but you really want to have that battle? I mean, like,
It would, but it's yeah, that's it. It's you want to make sure that that's the case, because they could go and replace it with, I don't.
right.
That's right.
$3,000 5 years ago. The builder really got that. Gave you full value.
Right.
Every scenario is different.
This is especially important. The reason we're bringing this up right now is because this is especially important, it seems, right now, because of we're obviously seeing values being pushed and nuance of winning contracts, and a lot of this personal property stuff has to do with that. We're seeing actually the personal property stuff come from the buyers right now. Remember that if your buyer is offering something to the seller in order to be able to win a contract, if it's in the contract, we have to verify that the buyer has the ability to follow through on it. All right. Meaning that if they're offering a Peloton subscription, there's no value to it as far as appraisal is concerned, but we have to validate that the buyer has the ability to pay for that subscription as part of on top of their down payment and everything else. Or social club memberships. That's actually another big one too. There's no value in that when the appraisal comes. We are in an era of overpriced offers, and we're getting close or at a tipping point right now of valuation versus true value. Value is not what somebody's willing to pay for it. Regardless of what you've been told, value is not what somebody is willing to pay for something. If there's no true value there, it doesn't matter what somebody's willing to pay for it. You may get that amount, but that doesn't mean the value's there. That's the purpose of the appraisal, is to protect the collateral to the lender. All right. Any questions on any of that?
Well, yeah, back to that for a second. So you're saying when tipping comes up everywhere with people, buying, we've got some back from every buyer.
Oh.
That it's, I'm not quite understood this season. So, from your perspective, what do you mean by that?
I just think that we're finding that we're at a point where values are being pushed because sellers are trying to wring every single nickel that they can out, which they should, and agents are allowing them to put them on the market that way, and they're getting those offers and those accepted prices. And especially when we're in an auction environment right now on every single house, and it's almost at a point where if there's not multiple offers on the house, you are wondering what's wrong with it. Why is it not? I mean, so with that being the case, every seller is trying to push the market. They're trying to be they're the lead of the market when there may not necessarily be true value there yet, even though somebody's willing to pay for it. It still has to be appraised, and the appraisal is always based on past indicators.
That's why you're saying it's not.
That's
I would argue that.
That's right. Well, I have a pen for you in my pocket right here that I'd say $50 right now. If we were out of pens, I'll get it. It doesn't mean that the value is actually there. You could put gold, you could pave your house with gold, and it's still only going to be an adjustment on the appraisal. It's not going to give value for gold. You see what I'm saying? What's the question? All right. So how can you, and I agree with what you're saying though, Adam. It's true. It's,
That's why somebody was going to pay $1,000 less.
I will refer you to 08. All right. So what's important? Insist on bona fide pre-approvals. That makes a difference. How can you help your clients with this? When you're a listing agent, have your bullets ready for the appraiser when they show up to appraise the property. If you're trying to push the market, you have to give reason to the appraiser and show reason why you're pushing the market and why that value is there for exactly that reason. Oh yeah. That's actually that's a good point. The Shirley was just bringing up. Elizabeth Murphy had met an appraiser out at a property this morning on a VA appraisal, and was talking to them about a comp, trying to use a comp that was getting ready to close in the next day or two. Pending sales do not matter on an appraisal. It does not matter what is pending or what is under contract. That hasn't closed yet. Until it closes, it's not true, right? You can't use that in valuation. It's always past looking comps that you have to look at within the last 3 months. She wants to push it back. Yeah, if you know there's a deal getting ready to close or a comp that's getting ready to close outside of yours and you have the time, you can have the appraiser wait until that one closes to try to include it as a comp. But it has to be closed before it can be included as the comp. I haven't heard that before, man. I wonder what the reason was.
It might be hard to.
That could be too. Yeah, they should be able to. I'm not sure why they wouldn't. It's still, but that still sets value. It may be that they're trying to say, like, if there may be a comp that's better that was financed than the one that was. All right. Any other questions on any of that? Sure.
And the appraiser used comps from prior to March of 2020.
I would challenge that all day long.
She wouldn't have any part of it. And then of course, as the buyer, you know, we representing the seller, the buyer was in hot heaven.
Oh, of course. Hey, I would like to buy a house a year ago too.
It was just so ridiculous. It's all pre-COVID.
Oh man.
Anyway, we ended up working it out and made both homes closed, but it was just so ridiculous. There were
Yep, I'm gonna.
right, but there were some of them past 3 months that we sent back that were not in the same neighborhood. Oh.
All right.
But she got blackballed.
All right,
Real quick, we got to roll forward a little bit because I don't think they can hear. Whoops. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, I can't get it to blow up. Anyways, this was the literal headline on Google yesterday morning. I just took a screenshot of Google and the news list after the consumer price index came out yesterday. Has anybody heard about a little thing called inflation? It says that the consumer price index yesterday rose year over year at 4.2%, which is the highest in 13 years, the highest since 2008, that it was a year over year. The reason that that's important is the expected rise was 0.8%. It rose by 4.2%. All right. Now here is the concern with that. If prices go up on what consumers are buying, just like in real estate, right? Just like we're talking about prices, if prices go up on what consumers are buying, rates have to follow at some point to level that off. Otherwise, inflation creeps in, right? And then rates go nuts. So here's where the concern is. Yesterday, it caused a panic in the markets. I mean, I think the Dow sold off like 600 and something points yesterday. And the 10-year Treasury was up, I think, by almost 60 basis points, wasn't it? So anyway, with that being the case, it's important to watch out. The last 3 times that there was a move that significant, they all preceded a recession. Right? So the big concern right now, or the big thing that everybody's wanting to figure out right now is this what they call transitory, which means is it short term? Is it a blip because we're coming out of COVID and the market is so hot and the economy is so hot that prices, like they include gas and energy, and right, and obviously there was the whole thing with the pipeline shutdown and prices going up and all that kind of stuff. So what they're trying to figure out right now, is this short-term inflation, or is this a bigger concern, an indicator of what's to come? We talk about it all the time. Everything that we do in this real estate business is psychology. So with short inventory, rising prices, and now all of a sudden inflation might be a concern, it could possibly put a little bit of slowdown, which we may need anyway, right, to bring some houses back on the market. Rising rate may not be a bad thing to help out the market, but be prepared, because everybody's going to be freaking out if the rates start rising in a very little bit. I mean, they're up right now about 0.3% from what their lows historically were. And people are freaking out thinking that the rates are just gone nuts. They haven't, and they haven't yet. They might, but they haven't yet. All right, you want to do thank yous? We'll send this out on the Google Drive after the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew always provides great information. He understands. I took economics and I barely passed, so his mind works that way. So if you ever want to know, or you can also go on the app. We have the CNBC app. It's free on our phone. We don't watch it all. I don't watch it all day. Do you watch it all day, Andrew? Yeah. So no, because you drive yourself crazy. But it's very interesting. And when we're trying to help people decide whether they should lock their rate or not, then that's where we go to. So yesterday I was reaching out because we've got 4 new construction contracts, and this is where it kind of gets a little dicey. You got new construction hanging out there for, I don't know, Carrie, when's that going to close? Next year? The one you just wrote? So I mean, it's hard to advise, but we'll bring long-term lock back probably. Anyways, so thank you guys for all your attention. Thank you, Alex Torregas, our cheerleader. We had a woohoo! We saved a deal. Instead of Leaf Fry, we'll go with Leah Fry. The Renee Kramer team. Thank you so much, Renee Kramer team. I don't know what we'd do without Renee and Katie and their support. Molly Lawson, we had a fabulous closing this week. So appreciate you guys very, very much. And we have some new contracts with Tyler Davidson, Tina Hartford, and Paul Lynch. Thank you so much, Paul, Tina, and Dave, Tyler. And we've been working out. Remember, these referrals are people we've done pre-approvals on. We've pulled credit, have a loan application. Katha Remington, Tyler Davidson, Paul Lynch, Jeff Cloth, and Peggy Leet. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and hopefully we can find them a house. And then we've been helping all these folks: Nia Swinton Jenkins, Katha Remington, Nancy Carroll Crick, Suzanne Jacobs, Tina Hartford, Paige Pollock, Jeff Cloth. I always want to say Cloth. It's definitely Cloth. Perry Abel, Steve Smith, Kimberly Ritter, Dorothy Shea, and Elizabeth Murphy. Let us know what we can do to help you guys. Part of the team, and we appreciate it.
Real quick, I'm gathering the money for Mega Millions today.
Mega Millions.
This afternoon. I'll send out an email on that. Do you guys want to do $5 buy-in or 10?
10.
All right, 10 it is.
$10 buy-ins for the Mega Millions. Andrew will send an email. He's buying the tickets this afternoon. Just email him, Venmo him. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys very much. That was helpful. Good dialogue. And Katrina, your question in the chat box is correct. She was saying something about MLS advertising, but that is correct. All right, let's hear from Teri. I saw you on here. I know you're having some technology issues.
Yep, I'm here. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Actually, I'm with Lowcountry Title Group for anybody who is not familiar with us. And what we do is anytime you guys present a buyer contract for a Weeks and Irvin closing, we are actually the title insurance company that gets involved in that transaction. So this morning, what I was hoping to do is just talk for a couple of minutes, just procedurally how things work, if you have any questions regarding that. So what happens initially is you guys enter your contract into SkySlope, and at that point, we're notified, the attorney is notified, and how it works when your buyers have selected to work with Weeks and Irvine is that the abstract team gets notification of that transaction and it gets calendared so that they are able to, one, see when it's closing, two, see when they have to have that information back. So what that abstracting team does is they actually go to the courthouse, pull different documents, pull different files depending on how old that property is and which county it's actually located in. But they actually research the history of the title to let us know information about ownership, liens, any type of encumbrances that may be on that property. If there are any judgments that may be listed, whether it's a tax lien perhaps that was placed on that property for the current owner, anything that may be filed with the county assessor, the tax piece of it, whether it was a state tax go up in that division. So once the abstractor has compiled all their information, they complete a pretty lengthy report that they actually will send back to the Weeks and Irvine title team. And what they will do is sort through it all, any type of problem that they may come upon. They will make sure, for example, if there's a mortgage currently on the property, they will make sure everything has been recorded appropriately and that we are notified that that mortgage actually has to be paid off prior to closing. So it would be anything like a mortgage that had to be paid off, any type of taxes for the calendar year in which that property is closing. If there were any other debts on there that were a lien against the property, whether it was a materialman's lien, a tax lien, or anything like that, we would make sure that we had notification of that so that we could in turn let the lender know, the buyer's lender, know that those items will be paid for prior to closing so that their client, their buyer client, your buyer client would be receiving that title free and clear as they should be. Once that happens, the Weeks title team will send us over what we call a title opinion. Once we receive that title opinion, we can go ahead and move forward with preparing the title work as needed for closing. So what we typically do at that point is the same. We look at everything and make sure it all makes sense, that anything that we see on there that needs to be on there, if there's any type of easement or anything like that, we want to be sure that we put that in a title insurance policy, or it could be a potential issue in terms of an easement or something along that line. What happens after that is we here at Lowcountry Title, we go ahead and actually prepare a commitment and the policies and send them back over to the closing attorney, Weeks and Irvin, and they in turn send that to the lender. So at that point, the lender goes ahead and takes a look at what we call the title commitment to make sure that everything that is being conveyed in that property is appropriate and that it's within their lending limits. So for example, if there was an issue with a garage, possibly that everything that is there would be presented so that there would be no surprises at closing. So again, once that piece happens, that's actually where you'll hear the term of pre-closer. So the person at the law firm, the paralegal that is actually prepping all the documents, not only the title documents, but all the mortgage documents, all of the contracts, all of the repairs, making sure all those items have been taken care of prior to the actual closing itself. Once that happens, that file is then handed over to the closing department. The closing department will be sure, again, they go through that file with a fine-tooth comb, making sure that everything has been indicated on that title commitment, indicated on the policy, making sure that they have loan approval, or if they don't have loan approval yet, they calendar it to make sure that it's going to happen in a timely manner to which the closing was originally scheduled.
I feel bad. It's breaking up.
At that point, the closing will take place. Everybody will sit down at the table. The closing attorney will go over all of the information. They will explain to your buyer client what's involved in that title, if there were any type of discrepancies, if there was any type of an easement on that property. It will be explained to them at that point. Hopefully everything will go smoothly and there's not any issues to be dealt with. What happens after that is the documents are actually filed with the clerk's office. And at that point, the closing attorney will therefore go ahead and send out the policies to your client with the clerk, which usually takes about probably in this time frame, probably about 6 to 10 weeks. I think Title does our involvement in your transaction. We are located, are ever over this side of town, please stop in and see us. If we can answer any questions for you, we are always happy to do so.
Teri, you were breaking up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure you were breaking up at the end, but I'm pretty sure we got it.
Did you have anything else for us?
No, that's awesome. I appreciate the comprehensive review of that, because I think sometimes people don't understand what goes into the title work process. So I do appreciate that. But when we have a listing and we do a title search, do you do that as well? Okay.
We do not actually do the title search. That the attorney staff does it. I'm sorry.
Your sound keeps breaking up. I don't know if it's on your end or our end.
Yeah, I don't know either. But the attorney is the one, their team, they actually hire an abstract team, and they are the ones that actually go to the courthouse and perform the search themselves.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you being with us this morning. I'm sorry for the technology issues.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to getting back over there in person very soon.
That sounds good. Take care. Good seeing you.
You too, Maggie. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
The graphic? Okay. I'll send it out. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much how it works, right? All right, we will send out that graphic. Yeah, Charlene saying there's so much more involved and she would like to have the graphic. So I will certainly send that out. So, all right, for the sake of time, we will move forward here through our production. I don't know if you guys saw the newsletter. I don't know what Coleman's doing over there. I think they're making things up. They, yep, they're doing something illegal. Yep, it's just insane. They're kicking butt. They actually have started tracking their in-house deals to see how many are co-ops and within Carolina One and within their own office. And I wish that I had a simple way to do that without adding another step to what the girls do. We might try to figure that out, but they're at like, I think at one point they had 49% of their deals were Carolina One co-ops. So they're doing a really good job leveraging that resource and making matches among each other. So something that we just got to kind of take a tip from. But we're doing a great job on listings, given the circumstances of listings. We've got 10 and we're just trailing West Islands with volume there. So very good stuff. Thank you guys very much for that. We've got 17 listings for 9.6 million at an average price of 564. 39 sales for 16.2 million, average price of 417, and 48 closings for 11.6 million, average price of 487. And I will highlight our agents of the month so far for the month of May. We've got Nancy Carroll Crick, the Fessler team with 5, Whitley Boyd with 4, Chip Idle at 2, Homes of the Lowcountry 2, Perella Group with 13, good stuff. Pam Bishop with 2, the Ritter Group 2, Tommy Levitt 3, giving himself a nice big birthday. We've got Karen Tawes, Casey Benton with 4, Alex Johnson with 3. He's at Park Circle. He's those are his first deals with Carolina One, so that's exciting. Doug Getford with 4, Ann Wise, Kristen Ackerman 2, Tyler Davidson, Dominique House, Renee Kramer team with 4, Katrina Johnson 2, Tina Hartford 3, Paul Lynch, Carrie Walker Group, Bob and Sherry Alford, Derek Hunter, Lauren Zarilla 2, Alex Dragus, Leah Fry, Haley Smith, David Thompson, and Patty Vick. So great work, guys. Thank you very, very much for all that. Couple of reminders on strategies that have been working. We are actually, I think 3 times this week, saw escalation clauses that were used and not actually, they were written into the contract, but we didn't actually escalate all the way up to the top price. So keep that in mind. I was strategizing with Bonnie, I think it was yesterday. And she said, my client can only go this high. Should we just write the offer for that amount? And I said, no, use the escalation, because lately we've been seeing them not have to go all the way up. So hopefully that's a good sign of what the market's doing. Moving fast without waiting for the offer deadline, because we know that the seller can accept an offer at any time. Poor Suzanne Jacobs busted her butt yesterday, right in her first contract. And by the time she finally wrote everything out and sent it to them, she was on the phone with Tony, going through the steps of the DigiSign, first deal ever. She was so excited. She gets a text message, we accepted another offer. I was like, dang it. So now she's got it all written. She just has to change the address and the price. Increasing the seller's net, doing the protection on appraisal, paying the seller's closing costs, and then free or inexpensive leasebacks for the seller just to help them increase their cash away from closing. All right, have wants and needs. I heard in the agent panel something very interesting I thought was the best takeaway. I think it was Jackie Densmore said, I really believe that everything is for sale right now. And she said, we're just being tested as realtors, that we have to go back to our people and really matchmake and give them a plan, because most of the anxiety is not necessarily on what to find for sale. It's where am I going to go and how am I going to do it? So I thought that was really good. I know the market is easy to get fatigued, but I think that was pretty good advice. So Karen, I know I saw you on here a few minutes ago. Do you want to tell us about your new listing here in Wagner Terrace?
Yes, thank you. It is a little condo in Sans Souci on the Ashley. It's a little hidden area back there, and the front buildings actually have gorgeous views of the Ashley and the marsh. And this condo is 2-bedroom, 1 bath. I own it with my husband and another partner. We totally renovated the kitchen. It was gutted. Their original floors that still look amazing. They're really pretty. We put a barn door to hide where you can actually have a little washer dryer. We bathroom, And it's just really, really cute. It'd be a great rental investment, which I really want to keep for that, but nobody's listening to me. And it's just, we've had lots of interest and no offers yet, but are expecting some. It just went on the market a couple days ago. So thank you.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thanks.
And then we also have Katrina, George Street. I feel like I know this property and I've never been in it, but between Katrina and Gail Young on George Street, they've been working these ones pretty hard. Tell us about this one, Katrina. AJ, did you leave us? She may have had to jump off. No, you did not leave. Are you muted? Are you having problems getting? She can't get it to unmute. Well, she's got 21 George Street, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1154 square feet, 685. Katrina, are you under contract or have an offer on it yet? Typing. Oh. Yeah. Okay. She said she does not have any offers and it is still available. So reach out to her if you've got somebody for that. What's the HOA on that, Katrina? While she is typing that, I'll read you Thorne's. Thorne has an immediate buyer need, 3.2, 1,100 plus square feet, up to 425 on James Island. Updated and good backyard. I'm reading very small print. Sorry. The HOA is $445 a month on Katrina's. All right, we got time for about 1 or 2 additional have, wants, or needs. Anybody here have anything? Nope.
Hey, Maggie, this is Laura.
Hey.
Hey, we're listing one probably tomorrow, but I wanted to give you all the heads up first. This is in Hibbins Ferry 2. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. It's 1030 on the square footage. It overlooks the courtyard area. It's adorable. Most likely we'll be going live at 2:44. We have a signed listing agreement. Like I said, I'm putting it in its list immediately following this meeting. Wanted to give Long Point the first shot at going. Lockbox is already on the property. New quartz countertops, neutral paint, laminate flooring throughout the main living area. They bought it as kind of their first property coming to the area years ago, and it's adorable. So let us know if you're interested. It will most likely go into MLS tomorrow.
What building? What building number, Laura?
Unit 5H.
5H.
We also have another one coming most likely next weekend up in Latson. That one will probably be $300,000, and 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Really cute. That's Tall Pines. We will be taking pictures with Chris Haslett next Tuesday. Probably could get you in Thursday on that one. So just let me know if you have buyers for either. Happy to help.
Yeah. Price on that one?
The Tall Pines?
Yeah.
Most likely 300. But it's
cool.
Brand new kitchen. I mean, it's privacy fence. The husband got tired of the hot water heater. He did a tankless hot water heater. I mean, it's a very nice house.
Cool.
Thanks.
For the list. Good price.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Maggie, this is Dorothy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hey there. I have a client coming this weekend. She needs a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath between 500 and 650,000, and she's open to look in West Ashley, James Island, Mount Pleasant. And she just needs a backyard for 2 dogs and a cat. So if anybody has anything, please let me know.
Cool. Good stuff. Adam is here with us. He's got a couple, so I will type what he has for you guys at home. quote to buyer needs. Yeah.
And then also now follow together.
And Charla still needs Snee Farm on golf course up to 1.2 with some type of yard. Karen Taz is looking for something in Park Circle, 3.2. And I think that's everybody. All right, let's move forward and wrap for the day. So I talked about this a little bit last week, and this will be quick, I promise. But doing a National Home Buyer Week and registering people on your website. So I wanted to just remind you guys and kind of get you thinking, what did people do to their houses or relating to their houses during quarantine? Yeah, think 3 R's. What did they do? Remodel or renovate, refinance, or relocate, right? Everybody did one of those 3 things, if not a couple of those 3 things. Some people renovated our entire house, like Whitley. She bought and then renovated, so she did both. Many people refinanced. So my point in bringing this up is what? What is it time for? Real estate reviews, another R, yay. So seriously, guys, this is a very simple way with the home buyer situation or the National Home Buyer Week to just register people and they get a monthly real estate review from you. You don't have to do anything, just register them. So yes, I will show you. So questions that they're probably thinking. Yeah, don't tell them, just surprise them. What is your home worth today? I mean, everyone wants to know that. Everyone knows what's going on in the real estate market, that it's crazy, but how does it really apply to me, right? What is their ROI on the investments and the improvements that they put into their house? What is the ROI on their mortgage refinance? What is the ROI on the new kitchen that they put in, right? You can give them that information. But more importantly, what has changed with people since quarantine? And this is a rhetorical question, but think about it. What has changed with you guys during quarantine? How have your priorities changed, right? Like, how has your lifestyle changed? Better or worse, right? So if we don't know this information and we're not giving it to them, somebody else is. And it's likely the Z word. And that's not good. Yes, it's not accurate and it's not a person. So if we're not telling them, someone else is. This is a quick video on how to sign somebody up for your buy-side newsletter. Oh, I apparently recorded music for you guys. Well, I hope you like the Beatles. So you're on your website. Everyone has this, what is your home's worth detail. Type in the address. Let the screen go blank. There you go. And it brings them to this page. It shows them a couple different values. This is a new feature on your website. Music is really loud. Equity in your house. So it will pull the mortgage amount from the tax records and then do an amortization based on the number of years and tell them what how much equity you have in your house. All on your Carolina One website. It shows them how it's calculated. Tells them what you would get if you sold your house. Yeah. Standard commission in there is 8%. That's what it has by default. Yeah. That says 8%, I don't know. So you guys know buy side, you know how it works. Hang on a second. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me get to the end so I can hear you. So listen, at the bottom of that report, you can sign them up for the newsletter, or at the very top of it, give it a second to load. But all you need is somebody's name and email address. And you just put their name in there to receive a monthly update. It will then send you an email that you registered them. This video is very annoying. It's electronic. They don't have to look at it. No, I think it's great. Send it to them. It says you successfully signed up, and then ask them to verify who they are. If you want to do that, you can. You get an email, and then they will receive an email every single month with what I just showed them. It's easy, and it's worth doing because you don't have to do anything after you sign them up. Sorry, that video is really obnoxious, but I will fix it and send it out. Questions? Greg? Yep. Yes, you don't have to do anything else. It's already there. So Greg said they have, they've registered all their SOI in that and buy side, and they're all getting their newsletter. So they've got 300-ish people getting that monthly newsletter from them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Huge. That's awesome. So Greg said that he just got an email just now from one of the people who has been receiving it, and they said the value has changed. It's $6,000 less than it was 2 months ago. What's going on? And Greg has a scheduled conversation with her at 10:30. Why? Yep. Uh-huh. It's awesome. Yep. Automated. Yep. Greg has a good point for you guys at home, basically saying we have to stay in touch with them. Not only is this providing an opportunity to stay in touch with people based on the feedback that they've been getting, they have a lot of people who are asking them questions, but we have to also stay ahead of the fact that it is computer generated. It's just like the Zestimate, right? In fact, the Zestimate is on there because people trust the Zestimate, even though they probably shouldn't, but it's on there because that's what people want, right? So it's very similar, but the whole reason we need to have a human factor involved in it is because it doesn't explain everything. It's not the whole picture. When you send it to them, when you register them, they will get this email on the right that says you've been subscribed to receive a personalized monthly report containing the value of your home. So just be mindful of that. But the whole point is that we're not an invisible agent, right? That's why I have that picture there. We do not want to be forgotten about, that we are their trusted real estate advisor. So if you need help with that, let me know. I will send out an updated video tutorial just so you can see it if you need it, but it's very, very simple. Just go to start at your Caroline One website, type in the address of that person, that client, and then register them. Mm-mm. Nope. Okay, that's it. That's all I got for y'all. Thanks for coming. Have a good day. No. It's from the award side, I think. You talking about the black thing up there? I didn't because of time. Yeah. Did that email help you, Kristen? Yeah. Was that email helpful? Mm. Yeah. He can probably give you some color on that, but it's not too much.
Alex. Alex, this is Marty. Hey.
Hey, Marty.
Hey. How are you this
Oh,
morning?
no, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Let me pick up my. All right, what about now?
You're unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Okay, let's see. How's that? Is that any better? Maybe not. It again.
Do you see the 3 little dots on the bottom right of the screen?
I do.
For more options?
Yeah.
And then the very first one is settings.
Oh, click on that. Click on
And
the
it'll
3
say
dots.
microphone default, internal mic, and that you need to turn that on. Do you see it?
Settings. Okay, default microphone, noise cancellation, default speakers. So I need to go to settings, audio, video. Just click on microphone then. Default microphone. Yeah. I clicked on it. Can you hear me now? What about my speakers? How is that? Alex? She can't hear me still. Alex, can you hear me now? Hey, can you not hear me? You can't hear. You can't hear. Well, I'd be darned. Well, I'm on settings and I've clicked on microphone. I see it, moving up and down as I'm talking. What about, let's see, let me turn my phone up even. All right, now. Well, so what am I supposed to do with microphone? That's what I thought. Make it to default internal microphone. Yeah. And I'm clicking on it. I clicked on it and the little lines, the 3 dots are moving. And then noise cancellation, it says filters out sound from your mic that isn't speech. I've turned that on. Don't know if I should have or not. I think it's on. Yeah. And then speakers. I tested those. I heard Maggie hear it playing with speakers. I heard Maggie, but whatever she was playing at first, or if somebody was talking, I only heard bits and pieces of that until she started presenting. Of course, you were in the parking lot, I believe. I know, right? Yeah, in the car, I couldn't really make out what was happening on her. Oh, okay. Okay. It sounded weird. Yeah. Well, I guess it's just you and me. I know. Well, You doing all right? Well, we're stuck in Rock Hill. We can't get gas to get home. How is? Go ahead.
I didn't realize that. That's terrible.
Yeah, and we haven't tried this morning, but we've got 3/4 of a tank. We've been here, well, we were gonna leave Sunday, and we've been here 2 weeks. And so we were gonna leave Sunday, but we've got 3/4 of a tank. But the deal is, what if there's a wreck and you have to sit and wait? And that's a whole different ball game. Donnie was in 8 hours. Took him 8 hours to get here about a month ago when he came by himself. And then once we get there, we're gonna have to get gas. So how is the gas supply there?
I mean, here I've been fortunate where I've been filling up in Berkeley County, and I have had no problems. But my Marty, his team has been, all over the place.
Yeah.
They have had problems where they haven't found fuel in certain areas.
Okay, yeah. So, well, see, we have a all of our news that we get here is North Carolina, and then one station for South Carolina. So we don't hear all of South Carolina news, And but Charlotte, Charlotte, there's no gas. And going up toward the mountains, there's no gas. And Sam's Club in Charlotte, the line was just miles long yesterday. And they were running out of gas and people were getting upset. So that's going to be a whole different ball of wax. But so we also understand that it's going, even though the pipeline started back yesterday, that it might take days or weeks for them to get the gas to the different stations up the East Coast. So it's like we don't even know, what we could do. But Donnie he got in line and late yesterday afternoon, got in line and was waiting, and the guy in front of him used all the gas in that tank. And there, yeah, and there's no more at that particular station. Everybody's putting red bags on the pumps, so you'll know they're out of gas. So I thought I would just check and see how the supply is there in Charleston.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, like I said, I've been forced, like our Exxon right here at Long Point, they're open and normal.
Oh, okay.
And then I go to a Parker that's kind of in Monk's Corner, and that one hasn't changed.
Okay.
There's a Parker's in Cane Bay, and they've had fuel.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but like I said, Marty's guys have been in a couple spots, and there hasn't been fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bad feeling. I can remember in the early 70s, I was at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, and I couldn't come home. I'm from Rock Hill, but I couldn't come home. Right? Yeah, because my father said there's no way, because the lines are long, and I had a little Toyota Corolla station wagon, which was very economic. Yeah. But anyway, I missed Thanksgiving and Christmas that year. That's the only time I've missed those two holidays without my family, and it was awful. I was so depressed. I hope we don't go through that again here. I'll tell you, this world is just what's up with it. Alex, what's up?
I know. Every time we think we understand, something else happens.
I know. I know. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. Yeah. Well, I hope you will have a good day and good weekend, and we're doing fine.
Thank you, Marty.
Yeah, we're doing
Good.
just fine. So I know you're busy, but I'm glad I got to talk with you.
Yeah, you too. Be safe. Let us know if we can do anything.
Oh, okay.
But hopefully they'll have this under control soon.
Well, I don't think we better, leave until we know what's gonna be happening,
Right,
because
if you can, might as well.
yeah,
Might as well.
yeah, I can stay right here. We've got a house here now, so
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about a place to stay or anything anymore. So, but anyway, tell everybody I said hey, and you take care here.
I sure will, Marty. You too.
Okay.
Love you, hon.
Love you too, Dawn. Bye bye.
Bye.
Here's my